Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And I do love it when the media are caught out with fake news. You know that fake news network that runs around South Africa, including Network 24, Die Beeld, and other ridiculously fake papers, and of course television stations. And it's not isolated to South Africa. It's happening all over the world. We have fake news here in Australia too. All the mad lefties. Now, when you consider over the Easter weekend, we had all those farm attacks, we had a few murders, we had all sorts of terrible things happening. And this was before the floods in KwaZulu-Natal. So they can't blame the lack of publicity on the flooding. They just didn't touch all the atrocities happening to people on farms. The only place you can read about it or hear about it is on things like YouTube, like this channel. But when it comes to a white fella in a prominent position being accused of being corrupt, that becomes headline news in what's it called? What's this stupid paper called? Network 24 and Die Beeld. Two trashy papers. And the story rotates around the Orania movement and their president, Karel Boshoff, who was accused of buying a car and using money out of Orania's account in a fraudulent way. And of course that's why it made big news. It's a white fella being corrupt, or the allegation of a white fella being corrupt. When it comes to the black fella, does not fit the narrative. Now, Orania have come back with basically a rebuttal of these claims by these trashy papers. And this is a shout out to Elzeby who brought this to my attention, and it needs to be aired so people know the truth of the matter. And the statement from the Orania movement reads as follows. Orania movement responds to allegations of financial mismanagement in the media. The Orania movement and this organization's president, Karel Boshoff, are mentioned at recent sensational media reports. We are happy to respond to these allegations. It is indeed the case that a former employee has filed complaints, as reported by Network 24. The Orania movement, however, immediately responded to these complaints by appointing an independent investigation panel to investigate it. The panel included, among other things, a professional forensic auditor who could follow every statement with great thoroughness. The Executive Council has dealt with the process with such thoroughness to ensure that the complaints are dealt with properly. Conclusion. No one is guilty of corruption. The investigation team found after a thorough investigation that the president of the Orania movement or any other staff members were not guilty of corruption. It was found, however, that the management systems are failing and that processes need to be launched to improve internal systems. The panel made a series of recommendations on how these systems can be improved and referred to the Orania Movement's Civil Council. The Civic Council meets in May and its implementation and completion is still in process. It is also important to note that in February, following a clean audit, the Civil Council approved the Orania Movement's financial statements. The second-hand vehicle purchased is very specific for Karel and other staff-related rides. The case was out of context and prematurely leaked to the media. It is regrettable that a person would send the unfinished case to the media without the necessary context, and the motive for this can only be considered malicious. The impression that the media reports create is that offences of a very serious nature have been committed, which is not the case. The media reports have the potential to cause great damage to the Orania movement. The distinction between the Orania movement and Orania as a village is important, as the two are separate institutions. And it concludes with a transparent and thorough completion. The Orania movement would like to ensure that all members and interest groups handle cumbersome and transparent membership fees. We look forward to completing the entire process, and feedback will be given to stakeholders on a continuing basis. The Orania movement thanked our members for their support and positive response. And that's a letter written by Sarah Rutz, the Vice President of the Orania movement. All right, guys, case over, case closed. Fake news. Yep, fake news. All right, please remember to subscribe to get real news, and have a great day. And don't forget to click on that little button. I talked about the notification button. That way you're going to be alerted when videos get sent out. Take care, guys.